Hey there, Johnny fans. This is your boy Sunny with yet another video covering footage of Johnny in Strive, mainly that of his starter guide released by ArcSys just a few days ago. This video is mainly focused on discussing some noteworthy properties on his special moves, as well as some potential applications for those moves, which means that I won't delve too deep in explaining what exactly his specials do, since the starter guide honestly does a pretty good job at this on its own. I recommend watching the starter guide first if you haven't already, otherwise this video is going to miss a lot of context for those who haven't watched it. I left a link to the guide on this video and in the description just in case. Now that we're all introduced, let's talk some Johnny.
Misfer.
The startup of Misfer seems to have been sped up to compensate for the loss of the level up mechanic. At a first glance, I'd say Strive's Misfer is about as fast as a level 3 Misfer, so it's going to make for a great tool to harass passive opponents. While all versions of Misfer are quite useful, I really want to highlight the high and low versions for a bit. The high Misfer launches the opponent upward on hit, which should allow for some situational conversions depending on screen positioning, but also give room for setting up cards on the screen via deal while grounded, or deal while vaulting. The low version gives a hard knockdown, and while it's not any different than Exert's Misfer in that regard, the overall faster startup of Strive's Misfer should make this somewhat useful for catching opponents in jump startup, while giving Johnny time to play his next card. Air Misfer's also got its share of uses, from stalling your air momentum to letting you reposition mid-air with the stance dash. These features combined with the threat of actually attacking should offer some great space to use the air version of deal as well. If that wasn't enough, it can also be used during pressure as a nice overhead, though your reward will vary on whether you have the meter reroll and cancel afterwards or not.
Turnup.
The Turnup mechanic is your moneymaker, giving you access to strong pressure and scary mix-up threats thanks to the guard crush it adds to your Misfers. This mechanic opens up a lot of plays, the primary example being a strong strike throw game with ample time to either frame trap or shimmy your opponent if you feel like it. You can even set another card to try and reset your pressure. The Turnup mechanic may even let you combo from air Misfer overheads without using any meter. That seems scary to think about, huh? I'm super excited to lab all sorts of stuff around this, I'll be honest.
Bout.
Bout is looking like the spiritual successor to Zweihander, so some of you might have a solid idea of applications for this move, such as Roman canceling the strike part of air deal for a fuzzy high-low situation. I couldn't help but notice that the starter guide has no footage of the deal follow-up being blocked, so I'm left wondering whether this move is punishable on block or not.
Senga.
Senga takes the role of the evasive counter-poking tool in Johnny's flashy arsenal. This move seems to bridge the gaps where Johnny is unable to get started with deal, while also being a threat for anyone looking to mash out of your pressure, lest they risk getting counter-hit by this move and the combo that comes after it. There's also the potential for our seeing this move on block for a high-low scenario, though there may be better alternatives to sync meter into.
That's my name.
One of my favorite supers of all time, That's My Name has the standard properties you'd expect of a reversal super with respectable damage. It's probably not safe on block like how it was in Exert, but there's no footage in the guide nor any of the recordings from the ArcSys booth in the recent VSF 11 event to support this. Even so, I still wouldn't get my hopes up. Honestly, the biggest loss for this super is how I can't send a message mid-super, a feature that I love to mess around with from Exert.
Joker trick.
Possibly Johnny's most versatile super in my opinion. It's useful in neutral as a callout to quite a few zoning options, and puts you in range to start your offense afterwards. Not only that, but it's also got an interesting use in combos, as you can see here in this part of the guide. Joker trick hits Melia very close to the corner, sending her towards the wall, but unlike most if not all supers in this situation, it doesn't lead to a wall break. As the patch notes did not address any changes to the wall break properties of supers, I'm going to assume that this is a Johnny thing. These are all of my thoughts and first impressions as far as Johnny's kid is looking. I think I've got an idea of the fundamental game that Johnny wants to play, but I'm actually dying to put it to practice. If you're interested in seeing more Johnny clips in the future, consider subbing to your boy, as it also gets me closer to that sick 1K sub mark. If you've got some Johnny observations of your own, let me hear you out in the comments. Now if you'll excuse me, I'll be at the front lines in the Season 3 waiting room along with everyone else. Peace.